You take a look at a plane flying, terrific, but you'd think it's not as clever as a bird. But there's one flying machine that can even beat the birds. It can fly backwards and sideways. You won't see a plane or a pigeon do that. It's the helicopter. So how does it do that?
These days, the skies are alive with the sound of helicopters. They can go anywhere, land anywhere, do anything. They can float like a butterfly, buzz like a bee. More than any other aircraft, a helicopter takes to the sky like a bird. And no one loves a helicopter more than the pilots who fly them.
The buzz I got when I very first flew, I still get every time I fly.
Incredibly, the idea was first mooted 1700 years ago by the Chinese. And Leonardo da Vinci had a go 1,000 years later. Nice drawing, pity it was never built. By the early 20th century, inventors were still racking their brains, but sadly their ideas never got off the ground. Well, not properly. Until, that is, this man came along, Igor Sikorsky. In the late 30s, he produced the first working helicopter as we know it today. And while everyone else took their hats off to him, he kept his firmly on. He had created a uniquely flexible aircraft.
Nowadays, modern military helicopters, like this Apache, have become deadly strike weapons, capable of appearing without warning in any situation. However, that same versatility is widely used in peacetimes to save lives. And in crowded cities, the modern executive can beat the jams by using a helicopter as an air taxi, hopping from one skyscraper to another. It's all right for some. It needs no runway, it can pick you up and drop you off on a postage stamp. So how does this magical machine work? The helicopter's rotors are like the wings on a plane. When air passes over them, it produces lift. To get the air to move over the blades, the helicopter just rotates them.
These are the rotor blades, and while they're flat like this, they can go around all day, but they won't produce enough lift to get the helicopter off the ground.
To get up in the air, the pilot has to use one of his three main controls, a lever called the collective pitch. This causes each of the rotors in the disc to tilt at an angle, biting harder into the air and creating lift. And up she goes. There was one big snag, though, with Sikorsky's prototype. As the rotors went one way, the helicopter just went the other. The answer? Another small rotor set sideways at the back. Like the main rotors, these blades can be tilted to gain extra bite. It's operated by pedals. Right to turn right, left to turn left.
But how does it get direction? With this, the third main control, it's called the cyclic. The cyclic adjusts the total angle of the rotors by tilting the disc of blades and literally pulling the craft through the air. So, with the rotors tilted forward, the machine moves forward and up. Moving the cyclic to the right tilts the rotors that way, and the helicopter banks to the right. Likewise for the left. But the catch is, using one control affects all the others.
The pilot has to coordinate all three controls in order to fly the aircraft. It's somewhat akin to rubbing your tummy, patting your head, and running on the spot at the same time.
If helicopter flying isn't tricky enough, then these guys really take their art to the limit. They're the Blue Eagles, the Army's helicopter display team. They're all full-time instructors, and they make their machines do things you just wouldn't believe.
Pedal, turn, go.
Like looping the loop. How? Well, ordinary helicopters have floppy rotors that would chop their own tails off if they flew upside down. The Lynx craft, flown by the Blue Eagles, has rigid rotors. So they can do this sort of thing. And even this. It must take tremendous skill.
Some of the manoeuvres which look the most spectacular are actually the easiest to fly. The aircraft will fly backwards just as easily as it flies forwards. However, other manoeuvres are more difficult. Now imagine sitting in a hover with other helicopters, all throwing air towards the ground, all affecting each other. That's when the concentration is probably at its highest.
So there you have it, the helicopter. The ultimate flying machine. What else can do this? Or this? Or this? Wouldn't old Leonardo whoop for joy if he could see how his dream machine has taken off?
That's all for tonight. See you next week for these stories. Wreckers at Work, how the motorway crash barriers save our lives.
How Christmas comes to life in the world's most famous toy shop.
And Holding Hands at 20,000 feet, the free-fall link-up that leapt into the record books.
So hopefully something for everyone to look forward to there.
And it's all to come next week.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.